Good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog with you on another Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day to all of you. You know, there are a lot of great agencies throughout the various counties that surround us that do a phenomenal amount of great work. Today, we are blessed to have in Safe Harbors. We're blessed to have in the executive director, and we're also excited to have her assistant director as well. We're talking about Marisa Rubé along with Rachel Gregory. First off, ladies, thank you very much for coming in. I know that we booked this some time ago. We had to reschedule you. You were nice enough to let us do this date, and it's nice to have you alongside. Marisa, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
And Rachel, thank you.
Thank you.
And Rachel brought back some old memories, which I can't wait to talk about when I get home. Just kidding. All seriousness, happy Martin Luther King Day. Let's talk about Marisa Safe Harbors, as the name is currently now, as everybody should know it, in Seneca, Ontario, and Yates County. But what else in all we Safe Harbors? Give our viewers a little flashback to how it got started and the different scenarios and different names that it went under.
Sure.
Okay.
We started as a one-county program back in 1981. That was in Yates County, and we were called the Rape Crisis Service of Yates. Over the years, throughout the next 10, 15 years, we were asked to merge with the Seneca and Ontario county programs at that time. And when we did that, when we became a three-county program, we became the Rape and Abuse Crisis Service of the Finger Lakes. So we were under that name. When we incorporated in 2003, we came out from under the umbrella of Rushville Health Center, became our own corporation. And in 2009, we decided to change the name to Safe Harbors because we felt that we were missing some domestic violence victims. We were Rape and Abuse Crisis Service, but people referred to us as Rape Crisis. People didn't really know that we also served domestic violence victims. So we changed the name to Safe Harbors, make it a little easier for people who maybe had not been sexually assaulted but had been abused by a partner to come and seek services from us.
And Rachel, the name of Safe Harbors was a name that was developed because of a committee scenario, or did it just come naturally?
It was kind of at a staff meeting. We were all sort of sitting around and decided that it was something that we should probably look at changing our name. And I think our old director at the time kind of blurted out Safe Harbors, and we all went, oh, yeah, we like it. So we then started talking about it a little bit more afterwards and decided that we'd stick with Safe Harbors.
And, of course, I got to point out that it wasn't for Deputy Sheriff John Clear, who sent me a note regarding Safe Harbors and the fact that what I want to have on Marisa and Rachel on the show. It said absolutely. And we did schedule them a few weeks ago, and then I had to schedule different changes because I had eye surgery, et cetera, et cetera. So they were nice enough to book today's date. Very important topic, very phenomenal service. And I think personally, Marisa, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, where you went to school, and how you got involved in doing what you do today.
Sure. I was born in Rochester and spent my entire young life there until I went away to school. Went to school at Stony Brook in Long Island.
Sure.
I got my bachelor's degree in sociology and then worked for a few years in New York City. I was working at Safe Horizon, which is a victim service provider there in New York. It's a very large victim service provider, working on their hotlines as a supervisor on their hotlines for their domestic violence, sexual assault, incest, and actually World Trade Center hotlines.
Oh, wow.
And after some time there, I decided that I wanted to do more, go further in that career. So I decided to go back to school. Couldn't really afford to do that in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Came home and went to Brockport to get my master's in public administration. While I was there, I was working part-time at Willow Domestic Violence Center, which was at the time Alternatives for Battered Women. And a chance encounter ended up helping me find Safe Harbors, which was then Rape and Abuse Crisis Service. 2007, I got a job with Rape and Abuse Crisis as their victim witness coordinator in the DA's office in Yates County. I can't even tell you the exact year that I became assistant director, but I moved from there, I think it was 2010. moved into the assistant director position. Our director at the time was getting ready to retire in 5 years, knew that. So she spent some time training me, transitioning me for that role, and in January 2016, I became the director.
That's good. And Rachel, how about your background a little bit? Where you were born, where you went to school, how you got involved in this wonderful, wonderful programs?
Certainly. Well, I was born in Hawaii, and my parents moved back here. We're Rochester natives, but I grew up in Clifton Springs, so we went to Mid-Lakes. I got involved with this work in high school. I started thinking about wanting to do advocacy and, doing social work type work. And so I started kind of researching and doing a lot of domestic violence research when I was in high school. But I then went to FLCC and became a volunteer at what was Rape and Abuse Crisis at the time. And then when I went away for my bachelor's at Roberts Wesleyan, I continued to stay in touch with Safe Harbors. And when I got out of school, I started working here. So I've been here for a while. I started doing advocacy work, but then quickly moved into the prevention programming and worked as a prevention educator in the schools. For a few years, and then started doing the Girls Circle programming and some of the other prevention stuff that we offer at Safe Harbors. And then when Marisa became director, she had asked me to become assistant director, and so I moved into that role at that point.
And Marisa was nice enough to send me some information, obviously, and you're talking about staffing and the various disciplines in your staffing. Give our viewers an overview of what that entails.
Sure. Well, there are 16 of us all together, myself and Rachel. Then we have 3 client service coordinators, 1 for each county, and they basically run our offices and supervise our advocates. And then each county has an advocate, and Ontario County has 2 advocates just because of the volume. And then on the prevention side, we have an educator, prevention specialist for each county as well, and a group facilitator. And then our specialized programming, we have a victim witness coordinator in the Yates County DA's office. And then we just recently started contracting with the Child Advocacy Center with a full-time staff person for them that's providing all the advocacy for their agency.
And I think the services you just mentioned, advocacy and support service, no charge to individuals and families affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, rape, and child physical and sexual abuse in Seneca, Ontario, and Yates. I think the disturbing part of what's been happening in the country, and you guys certainly are aware of it more than anybody, is when you realize, day to day you're trying to help people that are certainly been affected or potentially been harmed in many ways. The breakout of the celebrities recently with the sexual assaults coming out like, Matt Lauer and people of high celebrity status making $20-30 million a year in their capacity, and people are coming forward, and now people are coming more forward. Of course, the Oprah speech at the awards, phenomenal. What did that do to you in what you do day to day? Is it about time, and people need to do this more often? Did we wait too long? Were women just resistant to come forward? What was your take on this?
I think it's very, very difficult to come forward. It's not, some people think, why did they wait to come forward? You don't get anything out of coming forward about being sexually assaulted except for people making judgments about you. So people don't often come forward, and what we've seen in the last few months has been incredibly empowering. It's made me proud of the work that we're doing, of the people who are coming forward, because for every person who's come forward, there's 10 more that can't. And they shouldn't have to. It's really a personal decision whether you want to talk about something that you've endured like this. So those who feel comfortable using their voices are using their voices for all of the people who don't. And I'm hoping we're starting to see a change in the tides.
And Rachel, your thought process as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I think has given voice to what we do every day. And even for those people who can't speak or don't feel comfortable, I think there's still power in knowing that others are. And so I think it can it can do a lot of good to know that there's people out there who have experienced the same thing as you have, even if you're not ready to say something.
Isn't one of the negative things, and I certainly do not condone whatsoever any sexual abuse of any sort, isn't one of the drawbacks really in thinking about this before the interview today, you guys showing up, women that allege where there was nothing involved, and just, you probably have experienced some of this in your research, is that an issue that does happen in your opinion? Do we have women that come forward to make allegations to try to get the pot of gold? You think there's a certain percentage of that, or do you think that's a very minute number?
So there's actually been research done on that, and it's actually about the same rate that people lie about other crimes. So it's about 2% of people who disclose this or make reports to the police are actually making false reports. That's right in line with every other crime that there is out there. So there's no more than any other person or any other crime. Like I said before, you don't really get anything about from coming forward about sexual assault. You get something personally, potentially, but you also get a lot of backlash. So there's not much reason to come forward other than to try and stand up for yourself and be honest about what's happened to you and stand up for other people. I'm sure there are people out there that do it for less than stellar reasoning. Financial gain, potentially. There's always going to be that person, but I don't think that's the norm. And I think too many people out there are thinking, especially with all of this celebrity stuff, as one person comes forward, then a bunch more will come forward, and people will say, well, all 40 of those people, he couldn't have done that to them, or something like that. Well, they're coming forward because in hearing another person come forward, that's given them the strength to stand up and say it too.
Interesting. And Rachel, we have a president of the United States who's been accused several times, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up, that he's still the president of the United States. He sits in the Oval Office, and I didn't vote for him, but I only bring this up because of the topic that we're discussing. Kind of interesting. 14 or 20 ladies have come forward over the years, and I guess nothing's happening on that scene. I guess the cast of lawyers that you can present yourself as the president. It'll be interesting if something does happen down the road, but I totally understand and I appreciate the comments so far from our guest today, and of course Marisa Rubé, along with Rachel Gregory, are my special guest today. Marisa is the executive director. Her buddy Rachel is the assistant director. It's about 15 minutes after the hour here on chilly Monday, but hey, after that storm we had the other day, not too worried. It's supposed to be near 50 by the end of the week. So this is Weber This Week. We'll be back after we take our commercial break with much, much more. Acting as a gateway to the Finger Lakes, Del Lago leverages the natural beauty and unique offerings while enhancing tourism in the region. The casino features 2,000 slot machines, 89 gaming tables, including 12 poker tables, portico by Fabio Viviani, a 2,400-person entertainment center, farmers market buffet. The hotel, spa, and banquet facility will open summer 2017. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. The Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is a child-friendly location where allegations of physical or sexual abuse are responded to by a multidisciplinary team of professionals. The team works together to conduct a thorough investigation and to provide necessary support services to children and their non-offending caregivers with a goal of minimizing further trauma to a child. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at newarkpilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Welcome back, everybody. The dog with you, Marisa Rubé, along with Rachel Gregory, my special guest today representing Safe Harbors. And by the way, let's kudos out to my friend, my man John Clear, of course, the deputy sheriff out at working with Tim Luce. He put me onto the possibility of having these ladies come in, and it's here now. We've got them in here. So we're talking about Safe Harbors, what a wonderful agency they are, and the various disciplines that are involved in their agency. We're going to get together and find out what takes place when somebody calls in just a second. But a couple of readouts I need to go through before we get back to Marisa, along with Rachel. As you all know, Seneca Metals has a lot of opportunities to bring different things going on out there. Educational center, always good, fun things. They got a bubble tea time coming up at Seneca Metals. Sweet, creamy, frothy, and cold with a surprise of tapioca balls on the bottom. That's what bubble tea is all about, and why even non-tea drinkers dive right in. Come learn to make these and other teas that will wake you up and your taste buds. To register, give a call out to 315-539-5624. That's at Seneca Metals Educational Center. That's at 1977 State Route 414 in Seneca Falls. That's coming up January the 25th, 6:30 to 7:30. It's a free opportunity, and it's an adult program. So check it out at Seneca Metals, Bubble Tea Time. By the way, speaking of guests, next week we're expecting Rachel and myself, where she was asking about McGee Diner. She had never been out there. I said, get out there, and it's great food. Another great place to eat around here is, if you can get in the door, is Connie's Diner. Wow, what a business they do. We expected, hopefully we're having our fingers crossed, to get Carmen and Paul Cardozola, the owners of Connie's Diner, to come in. Really, they don't need any plugs from my show, as busy as they are out there. But they were going to come in and talk about their mom and how that all got started. But Paul Cardozola has got a disc issue in his back. Got some friends that have had that issue. That's real painful. He's having surgery next Monday, the day they were supposed to be in here to do the Weber show. So obviously he won't be here. He's having surgery. So we've rescheduled him and Carmen, the two brothers, for March 5th. So they have confirmed they'll be in here March 5th to do the show. We're taking their place will be a couple of representatives from Stan's in Waterloo, a new restaurant that was open a few months ago in downtown Waterloo. Merrill Moore, the chef, the executive chef, who does a wonderful job out there making great dishes, along with Chris Ritter, who is the manager. They will be here next week talking about Stan's. I tried to get my friend Lee Bieber, who I've never met yet. I've talked to him on Facebook a million times. Lee Bieber will be down at the city level. He goes back and forth like you and me go to Waterloo. I don't know how he does it. You were the girl from New York, right? You went spent some time in New York. I can't imagine him going back and forth to the city, but he does. So Lee Bieber will be on sometime down the road. But Merrill Moore, along with Chris Ritter from Stan's, will be here coming up next week. Okay, ladies, back to the discussion. Now, certainly let's pass along. If you have child abuse or domestic violence or domestic abuse or rape or any type of thing in that area, here's the phone number if you ever need to get a hold of him. We hope you don't, but if you ever knew, here's the phone number. It's 1-800-247-7273. Again, that number is 1-800-247-7273. Marisa, let's go and talk about what if. What if you get a phone call? Walk me through the steps. You and Rachel, please tell us what takes place.
Okay, well, it's a 24-hour crisis hotline, so we have volunteers that are on overnights and on weekends as well. So you can call any time of day or night, 365 days a year. If someone has been sexually assaulted, I'll start with that. They can call our hotline, and the hospitals often call our hotline to request an advocate to meet them at the hospital. So we can meet a victim of sexual assault at any of the local hospitals and be there with them through their forensic exam. It's a long, arduous process. It's not pleasant, and it's really nice to have someone there that can help tell you about each step and what they're doing, why they're doing it, what that will be used for, and make sure that your rights are respected. At that point, we also can go with the victim to the police station if they would like to report their assault, and we can go with them to make that report and talk to the police with them. Past that initial period, our advocates work with people providing various different levels of advocacy and accompaniment, either accompaniment to court, if there's any criminal case, medical appointments, things like that. For domestic violence victims, there is often DSS, going to the Department of Social Services and getting services set up. We can help with emergency housing, so getting someone into shelter. There is no shelter in the 3 counties that we serve yet, though we're working on that. But we can help get them placed in another county or potentially in a hotel if the immediate safety is an issue. So we basically work with people to make sure that all their needs related to the crimes that have been committed against them are being met. And that they have someone to talk to who knows and understands the types of things that they're going through. We do some crisis counseling, though we're not therapists. We'll refer out for people for long-term therapy. And then we also have support groups for people if they want to meet with other survivors and talk about that type of thing. So really, any needs that a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault has related to those crimes.
And Rachel, I guess the question is, somebody calls in and indicates they've been sexually assaulted. What percentage of cases does it go where the person, the woman or the man or whatever, do not press charge? Does that happen very often?
It does happen. I don't know if I can give you an exact percentage, but
I'm just curious.
We definitely have that as an option. You don't have to go forward and press charges, and a lot of people choose to have the exam and then decide that they don't want to go forward with things afterwards, and that's okay too. It's all about what's right for them and what feels right for them as far as their healing and what they think they need to do for their next step. And our advocates are all equipped to kind of talk with them through that process to decide what is their best option. And sometimes that means not going forward with reporting something to law enforcement.
I see both of you during the show here, and I'm thinking to myself, if you work in Walmart, or if you a pharmacist, or if you're a CPA or whatever line of work you are in, both of you, the work you're involved in must, and I'm just speculating now, and you can give me your comments, Rachel, are there nights where it's tough to put the head on the pillow and go to sleep, thinking about your job and what you are involved in? It's pretty serious stuff.
It is. I think that for all of us, we have a pretty good coping mechanism for that, and we have each other, so we really have a great staff where we kind of walk each other through that kind of stuff when it gets stressful. But there's certainly cases that you take home with you sometimes, and you think about, and that's okay, but somebody has to do this work, and I think it's important to remember that we have each other and ways to kind of de-stress after things get to us for a while.
Marisa, same question. Got to be some tough days in this job, I'm assuming?
There are absolutely tough days, and certainly more so for our direct line staff, our advocates who are hearing the stories every day. And a piece of this is that the work that we do is highly confidential. So you can't go home and talk to your spouse or your friends about the work that you're doing, which makes us as a team really a family because we can talk to each other about it. We all understand the work that we're doing. It's kind of a conversation stopper if you talk about domestic violence or sexual assault out in public.
I can imagine, yeah.
So we really rely on each other for that support and the other people that are doing the work that we do.
Well, we got Marisa along with Rachel here. We got some love 3 minutes ago. Got some love to give out some kudos to some of the people that you work with. You got some names you want to throw out there? And maybe you'll miss somebody, but at least you can remember a few of them. Pop a few names if you'd like to and give them some credit, too.
All right, I'm going to go down the line.
Go ahead. That's all right.
Our client services coordinators are Nina Hamilton, Joe Cuson, and Janine Phillips. Our advocates are Molly Kennerson, Sarah Sosnowski, Stephanie Hackett, and Brittany McCrae. Our prevention educators are Sarah Flack, Rebecca Godwin, Ashton Dillon. Our group facilitator is Melissa Gilbert. Our victim witness coordinator in the DA's office is Caitlin Metz, and our child advocacy center specialist is Adrian Gillespie. Did I miss anyone?
I don't think you did.
Okay.
Great job. Yeah. Great job. I don't think you were thinking I was going to ask that.
I wasn't.
Maggie.
I was not prepared for that one.
Maggie.
Oh, and our college liaison, Maggie.
Can't forget Maggie.
The college liaison means a college interpretation from the college scenario if something were to happen at the college?
Yep. She works with all of the campuses in our 3 counties.
Oh, great.
She provides both prevention and advocacy services. So advocacy to the students and prevention work, education to students, faculty, staff.
Well, as we wind down with a couple of minutes ago, parting comments, Rachel, as far as we thank you for spending time with us. I know the show's not that long. I wish it was an hour sometimes. But thinking about it, Rachel, what message do you want to give to people who may be checking us out you guys are there, your agency is there, you're going to be there to help them regardless of what discipline you're talking about, and I guess your comment would be to get involved if you need to, call, and things will get taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. I think one thing that we talk about often is that you don't have to have had something like this to happen in order to affect change or in order to help. There's different ways to get involved, whether it's volunteering or helping organize something, or even if it's just getting more informed so that you can help somebody if you come across it. So certainly call us with any questions. We are there. We like to be in touch with people and answer questions, and it's always better to call, and we'll connect you with what resources we have.
And how about you, Marisa, for final comments?
I think it's really important that people know that if they need help, they can reach out any time of the day or night. We're not here to tell people what to do. We're here to present them with their options, help them make the best decisions for themselves going forward.
Very good. Well, ladies, thank you very much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Again, I want to thank John Clear for leading me to getting Marisa along with Rachel to come on the show today. They were originally scheduled weeks ago, but because I had some issues with medical, I had to postpone it, and they were nice enough to book today's date. Again, folks, I can only tell you that, we hope you don't never have to call. And I guess they agree with me as well. Phone door ring, that's good. But if you need some help, and it's regarding domestic violence, rape, assault, whatever, children, whatever, please give a call. And their number is 1-800-247-7273. It's agencies like Safe Harbors and then make the world go round, and certainly are there to help people that are going to definitely be in need. So again, thank you for them for showing up today on Weber This Week. Don't forget, folks, next week we were originally going to have the Cardozola brothers on. That has been moved over to March the 5th to talk about Connie's Diner. Next week, Merrill Moore, the executive chef at Stan's in Waterloo, along with their manager, Chris Ritter, will be my special guest to talk about Stan's in Waterloo. For Marisa, along with Rachel, this is the dog, and along with Jimmy Sitter-Cropey, bidding you farewell. Get out this swimming suit. It's going to be 50 on Friday.